So, Star Wars. Is everyone done complaining? It seems like in recent years, anything Star Wars related is always paired with complaints and hate. See, I never grew up with Star Wars. I knew it was there, and I watched the movies and saw the parodies and played Lego Star Wars. I just never got into it. I was too busy with this. After Disney's Star Wars acquisition, everything just kind of went to plain bad, according to the internet. See, as someone who isn't obsessed with Star Wars, I get it. Yeah, these movies have their many flaws, but they also have their many fans, and that's fine. The games have always been the main source of Star Wars hype. Hell, back in the day, I had the Episode 3 game. I played the hell out of this. It is not good and extremely slow, but man, I had a lot of fun.
If I were to ask you what is the best Star Wars game out there, a majority of people might say Battlefront 2, or maybe Knights of the Old Republic, Jedi Knight Academy, Pod Racers. I personally played Battlefront 2 online on my PS2 like every day after school, but that's the only one from that list that I've actually played. Nowadays, there's a new contender. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, the game that everyone hyped up as the best Star Wars game ever, even before it released. And when it released, no one talked about it. Like, of course, some people talked about it, but it wasn't as widespread of a discussion as I thought it'd be. And needless to say, I was excited for the game considering the fact that I bought the physical copy of the PC version. Of course, there's no disc, which proves that I was passionate about this. I can't trade this in, I own it, and that's that. Now I just have plastic on my shelf. I did play this through to the very end, and I was really enjoying myself. Every day after work, I'd come home and play it for hours. That's something I haven't done in a long time, so the fact that this game got that out of me is really saying something. Which is weird because I'm not the biggest fan of Souls games. Yes, this is a Souls game. Call it what you will. Souls. I played it day after day, cutting through goons, learning new force powers, enjoying the story and the characters. But the more I played it, the more off I felt. Some things that were happening to me just weren't adding up. And then I got to the ending and just ended up disappointed. Let me break it down. So like I said, Jedi Fallen Order is a Souls game. You have your light attack, heavy attack, dodge roll, stamina meter, bonfires basically, parries, lots of waiting, you get the picture. You can't just run in and start flailing your sword, no. Everyone will kill you. The more I played, the more I got used to the mechanics, the more the game utterly kicked my ass, which I don't really get. Listen man, I'm a bit of a gamer. You hand me a controller and I could probably handle anything, no big deal. It just felt like the more the game taught me and the more I practiced over and over, it just started to feel like my fuck-ups weren't my fault. The best way I can describe it is that this game feels fake hard. By that, I mean like, when I fight and die, I didn't feel like it was my fault. If I get cocky and go all out on someone and die because of it, yeah, that's my fault, no problem. But here, it just felt like every little thing was either unfair or not registering. It felt more and more like it was the game's fault. Don't get me wrong, I can tell how much care went into this project. It looks amazing, controls really well, and surprises me that it can sell with this weird little stain on the cover. I might have just gotten a misprint. Now let me clarify, I did enjoy my time with Jedi Fallen Order. It was fun at times, but I could really start to see where corners were cut. Cal rarely ever expresses another emotion that isn't constipation. The combat ended up feeling unfair and always against me no matter what I did. Glitches, topped off with a very disappointing ending, left me feeling kind of upset. But I may be the only one who thinks that because I haven't seen anyone else speak ill of this game and its problems. The question is, do I think it's the best Star Wars game in recent years? Well, no. It's up there, don't get me wrong. I can understand what people love and why it's highly rated. I just think there's a better one.
Now before we click away, let me explain. I love this game.
Star Wars The Force Unleashed. Bro, I love this game so much, I bought it like 7 times. I got this game when I was given my PSP for Christmas back in 2008 and was completely invested from start to finish. I was replaying this game more times than I can count. I know every level, every secret, every thing, mainly about the SD version. The HD version I didn't get until much later down the road. If you want to know more about this topic, click the card in the top right so you can watch me compare these versions. But regardless, the story was the same between both versions. Now, for those of you who don't know, the game tied episode 3 and 4 together before it was replaced by Jedi Fallen Order. Originally, the story was Darth Vader had an apprentice, Starkiller, who was kept secret from the Emperor. Starkiller was sent on missions to kill Vader's enemies while also killing everyone in sight, stormtroopers included. That way, no one could report back to the Emperor that this dude with lightning hands is messing up their plans. Vader plans to use Starkiller and his own army to overthrow the Emperor. Eventually, game happens, story happens, Starkiller realizes, wait, this guy's kind of fucked up, and swaps sides to form the Rebel Alliance. After you fight Vader and the Emperor at the end, there were two options to end the game. The, at the time, good canonical ending as well as a bad alternate universe ending. The good ending saw Starkiller sacrifice himself to save everyone aboard the Death Star, later making his heroic efforts the symbol of hope that they needed. The bad ending has you killing Vader and taking his place as the Emperor's apprentice. They even added a full-on expansion where you play as Sith Starkiller and murder a bunch of mainline Star Wars characters. This is the story I always liked more than Jedi Fallen Order. You could argue that Cal had more of a character arc, but I don't really see that either. Starkiller literally swapped sides and took on the fucking Emperor. That's a bit more of a character arc to me. Spoilers for Jedi Fallen Order, by the way. 3, 2, 1. Okay, so at the end of Jedi Fallen Order, you have that spontaneous fight with Darth Vader that, not gonna lie, was super badass and out of nowhere. Unless you watched the Black Friday ad for it, which spoiled it right away, but besides the point, it was super cool. Easily the most memorable part of the game, and damn near the only memorable part of the game. After beating the game the first 2 weeks after launch to now, I don't really remember any of my time with the game. The only thing I really remember is the shock I felt when I fought Vader. That in the ending. Every day at work, I'd talk to my coworkers about where we were in the game, what lightsabers we made, how we like it so far. Then one day, we all came in after beating it, and I was shocked that we were all let down. I'm not going to go into the ending in this video because there's a lot to cover, but if you've played the game before, then you know what I'm talking about. The story, though, isn't the big thing for me when comparing these two games. I really enjoyed the gameplay more in The Force Unleashed. I personally like the more chaotic, fast-paced, balls-to-the-wall combat and movement options in this game compared to the slow and barely functioning combat system in the other game. Now, don't get me wrong, Unleashed isn't perfect by any means. Just like Jedi Fallen Order, both games have their own flaws. For example, platforming is kind of janky in Unleashed, just like how combat is janky in Jedi. But Force Unleashed does give me a better feeling of the actual Force, more so than Jedi does. Look at this, you can pick up an enemy and they'll realistically react to how they're moving around, and then they'll grab other enemies around them, so now you have like a trail of dudes floating around. You don't see that type of stuff anymore.
I feel like I'm turning into the stereotypical Star Wars fan nowadays. The new thing ain't as good as the old thing. Listen, Jedi is a great game and it's definitely worth your time. Just don't expect the golden chalice of Star Wars games. It may be that way to you, and if it is, fantastic. Let me know in the comments why you think it's better. I'd love to hear more conversation about this topic. I'll be reading the comments in this video to see what you guys have to say about all this. So, with that said, I'll see you all in the next one.